Yes, we're back.
We still did an episode last week, didn't we? Just there wasn't any promotion for it because Matt was in the hospital.
Yeah, you know how it is. Old hospital Matt. Matt's got a new baby.
Yeah.
New baby. Is that how that goes?
That's how they announced it when he popped out.
That's what the doctor said?
Yep. Kicked the door in. And
weighing in at 8 pounds and 6 ounces. Daddy! Oh! Hi, everybody, and welcome to a waxing, Summer Boys Living, New Japan merging. Matt, we're going to be doubling. We're going to be nothinging. We're going to be having an episode of the Brothers of Discussion. Yeah. We're talking shocking releases. Well, not wrestling talent. Matt, the commentary talent. Oh, no. Some shocking releases there. We're going to get you all primed and buttered. We're going to get you all lubed up for the Double or Nothing. It's this weekend, Matt. I'm pretty geeked. We're going to talk about the debut of our God. Matt, he's on TV. It's the best thing ever. It's better than I could have hoped. Matt, it's been a hot, spicy week as usual. I almost called off work today because my heel was not cooperating with what I put in my face, and I was destroying my locker room, if you will. Matt, how are things over there now that you have a new smiling baby boy?
I might not know. This might be the zero sleep over the last week, but I have no idea what. I couldn't even begin to fathom what your heel not cooperating with what you put in your face. I have no idea what's going on. But yeah, I'm tired, so maybe that's it. There's different things I wanted to bring up today that I feel like because of the lack of sleep, I might need some clarification. I might need, as our YouTube channel continues to grow, and we keep having hot video after hot video, which I appreciate everyone who's been tuning in. I'm hoping somebody can throw in the comments some answers to some of the things I'll be asking for. Mike, what in God's name are you talking about? What do you you mean pain medication isn't cooperating?
Oh, I got food poisoning.
And your heel?
That's my bottom, and my mouth is my face. And so I put food in my mouth hole, and then it came out really hot on the other side. And I almost wasted PTO today. Yeah.
You have a body part that's called a heel.
Well, it was being heelish. I guess I should have elaborated a little.
I understand now. Yeah, so everybody, if you want to check out Brothers of Discussion, check us out at bodpodcast.com, brothersofdiscussion.com. The episodes are going to be a lot longer than today's. There's a lot of fun stuff on there. Matt's a lot less tired in other episodes. I mean, we're recording at 10:20 because I need at least one of my babies to be asleep. She'll be 2 soon, so hopefully, that means going to sleep's easier. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
We're thinking about potty training soon. Mike changing the diaper on a 1 week old, and then changing a diaper on an almost 2-year-old. When you do the 2-year-old, I feel like I'm changing the diaper of a full-grown human. She's been eating food for a while, so she's beefed up a little bit. So when I do it, I'm like, Jesus Christ, cover up.
I don't envy your situation, and I'm going to give you a quick anecdote why. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to Paint and Pour?
Yeah.
And it's the gimmick is that you go paint, and then you also get a little glass of wine, so you get a little silly while you're painting. And how many times have you taken a sip out of your paintbrush water cup, and how many times have you dipped your paintbrush in the wine cup? And I guess my concern is when you're trying to change Teddy's diaper and you accidentally put the dirty one on Addie, oh man, that's my concern. So you're gonna have a paint and pour diaper situation.
Man, I have it down to a science with little Teddy because he's sorry to say because I feel like I completely regret it, but he got he got circumcised, so he gone.
No!
At least Mr. Foreskin. And Mike,
no.
I mean, you and I get it. Like, that thing is delicate. But when it's an open wound, it's horrifying.
Wow.
I mean, so when I say I have it down to a science, I mean, you have like a gauze that you put Vaseline on. That has to go on the wee-wee. And then you diaper up. But this, of course, is after all the cleaning and the special cleaning you have to do on the wee-wee in case any poo-poo or pee-pee gets on there. Yeah, so at least right now that's not happening. Could happen as I get less stressed about changing a circumcised baby diaper. But that is probably the most stressed out because Mike also doesn't feel great. So he's screaming in your face. Great. He's screaming in your face. So I've got a screaming baby.
I'm sure I would be screaming too.
It's awful. I could not regret more doing that to poor little Teddy, but alas, here we are. Mike, it's a great time to transition into some pro wrestling talk. Mike, I hope wrestling fans will one day regret all of their pee-peeing and poo-pooing all over my excitement for New Japan and WWE, at least having rumors of talking like in the same room.
What is the beef here? What are people upset about? This is a fantastic opportunity for everybody involved.
This is everything we wanted. We wanted AEW to challenge WWE because you want your product to be better. And everyone, like, I think some people just wanted to see WWE fail. And they pretended that the competition was good, and they just wanted to see. And that's fine. You can hate a company. I tell everybody to not be super loyal to brands. It makes pro wrestling better. But that's you being super loyal to AEW. Like you gotta let go. You gotta look at this from a fan perspective and go, oh my God! Regardless of title implications, regardless of what the storyline is. There's a huge potential here to have some of the best in the world in the ring together. And we don't have to sit here and play this game of, well, they're never going to see each other because one wrestles on one part of the world and the other wrestles in a different part of the world.
Do we know what are the main complaints that you saw? That's my question. I don't see any negatives.
My favorite one today. And this is, I held back because I don't have the time to do Twitter arguments right now. But somebody who has a lot of clout in the internet wrestling community tweeted out. So maybe if somebody is a fan of his, you'll recognize the tweet I saw today. But he said, I see no upside from New Japan Pro Wrestling in this. Unless it's about the money, there really is nothing New Japan's going to get out of this. Now, this is a guy I've seen tweet a lot, and sometimes his tweets are funny, but they do skew towards one specific brand. And I got to tell you guys, when you do skew towards one specific brand, I really start to lose faith in your ability to judge pro wrestling because it's not a thing. You're just a fan of 3 letters. Give it up. All right. Now, why that tweet is so ridiculous is what in God's name would any of these businesses be doing working together but having money in mind first? Why would they do anything else? Well, number one for all of these businesses, yes. So you all know, for all of you that are going to one day be the same age as Mike and I, they're doing it all for money. Yes. Oh, I just opened the forbidden door of truth.
Last I checked, McDonald's has a soda agreement with Coca-Cola, and then they do all their toys through Pokemon, Digimon,
right?
Hush Puppies. Do people still like? I like Hush Puppies.
Yeah, they're great. Long John Silver's, baby.
Yeah, they're putting
them up.
God damn it.
This
looks like a major positive. I think we talked about AEW opening the door to other companies and how interesting that is. I'm sorry. I like both companies. It's 10 times more interesting to see WWE finally agree to start building bridges. And for me, we might get to see Daniel Bryan fight, the best that, New Japan has to offer. And some of the rumors are coming out that he's kind of a bigger advocate for this because he, this is appealing to him for sure. But But it's also a super strategic move for WWE to make sure New Japan and AEW don't get a deal together. Because we know that, we've already had, people like Kenta just parachute over to AEW for a cup of coffee. So I think it's a smart move if it's actually going to come to fruition on WWE's part. And for us, my God, you could get Drew McIntyre versus, I don't know, man, Okada.
Yeah, his tweet today was great. Like, it's a major troll on Drew McIntyre's part. Definitely playing with the fans. But how cool is that? I mean, he tweeted that out today. I mean, how immediately I see some of our buddies on Twitter are poo-pooing that. And it's like, let me enjoy this. Jesus, tap dancing Christ. Has there been a nice, fun rumor about the WWE in like the last 10 years? God damn. I guess the funny thing is,
if we talk so much about who cares about brand loyalty, are you telling me Okada doesn't want to fight Drew McIntyre at some point in his career?
Right.
That's what we're excited about. I don't know about the dotted line and how much money's going to New Japan, but I think they're going to be okay when they have that, Tony Khan contract get slid across the table to them. Am I saying the right Khan? What is that guy's name?
Khan is
Nick Khan. I said Tony. Yeah. I apologize. At least I caught myself in that error. When the Nick Khan contract comes sliding across that table, they'd be like, fine, who cares? And then, the other thing, I don't understand why people are scared about the booking. We've already seen WWE do questionable things in Saudi Arabia, and you know what? They just do it like comic books. Like, you know what? This isn't canonical. Who cares?
Right. Here's the best part. Everybody complaining about that booking are the same people that are never missing a show. Will never miss a show. No matter how much they hated any of the Lesnar matches, the Goldberg matches, they are right there tweeting about this, messaging about it. They're doing everything that helps WWE make more money. So guys, I mean, come on, you're being a little silly here with getting too worked up about the booking because and if you're gonna forget about it soon enough. There's gonna be a new storyline. I mean, Mike, we're comic book fans. If we were really worked up about the booking, I wouldn't have 1,000 X-Men issues back here because really it's dog shit at this point with how many times those guys die and come back.
Yeah, I mean, with comic books, you just stay, with like the good stories. Those are the WrestleManias. You don't worry about, the Hell in a Cell like issues, where all the X-Men are turned into puppies, and you're like, what? And Magneto's a dog catcher. Like, oh my God.
I have said on the show though, I'm a huge fan of those. I am a huge fan of those middle of the story issues that they come out as like a supersized issue. You throw in Spider-Man, and exactly the one that I referenced last time was where there was a lost puppy, and Spider-Man and Iceman and one more of the X-Men had to go find him, and it was just fun. It was fun dialogue with the three of them going back and forth. It looks like it's from a completely different timeline, and it was really just right in the middle, slap dab in the middle of a big storyline of for the X-Men, and it was actually Nightcrawler's big return, and Matt finally subscribed to X-Men again after probably a decade. And I could have been angry, but then when I read through it, I was like, God damn, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, the point is,
and Peter Parker still got it.
Yeah, the point is, I mean, those guys can still go back to their respective realms and rule over the ponds. And also, maybe someone will lose a match, but I mean, these guys they talk to each other. You know what I mean? They see each other on Twitter and, YouTube or up, down, down, maybe, Matt, into a segue. Yeah. And I think they would love to face each other. And I don't know how much time we could dedicate to this, but Xavier Woods and Matt Riddle maybe put on one of the best free matches I've seen in the last 365 days. And it's just stuff like this where I sometimes like with offense, a lot of credit goes to the person eating the move. Because of all the balance and like gymnastics it takes to make a really fascinating like hanging suplex look good. Xavier and Riddle equally made this move just magical. Riddle jumping up into Xavier's arms for a jumping, hanging, tossing vertical suplex. It was gorgeous. There's like probably 4 or 5 spots that just blew your mind. And if you just want a reminder, like, you know, why is Matt Riddle on my TV? You know, he's sliding around on a scooter. You know, Xavier Woods, why am I watching this match? He's, you know, he's in the New Day. He's a tag team wrestler. Like, no. They're booked that way to spread out the rest of the tents in the circus. But Matt Riddle and Xavier Woods are fantastic wrestlers. And I don't know why they did this treat for us as wrestling fans for 20 minutes. But if you like professional wrestling and you're one of those molar grinders about, oh, New Japan's got all the best wrestling, just turn on Xavier and Riddle and tell me you're not impressed. That was fantastic. And it closed with an RKO. I don't know what to call it, but I loved it.
I mean, that's it right there, right? Like, that's your taste of, like, let's get these guys that don't necessarily need to have these storylines that collide for a full year, but they can, you know, they can hook up for a month and see what happens, and they turn out gold. I think there's so many different ways to book and make sense of WWE and New Japan working together. Like, tournament style would be a ton of fun. There's so many fun things that could just happen this one time. We can see it, and then we can move on. And goddamn, like, it doesn't have to be the worst thing in the world if your favorite WWE guy goes down. I know, like, planet Earth will actually implode if it ends up being like a tournament and a New Japan guy goes down to a WWE guy. I know planet Earth will implode, but it's really not the end of the world. It's fun. It's funsies, you guys. It's fake fighting. I feel terrible because I think 3 weeks in a row now I've made the argument for some different reason and summed it up to saying it's fake fighting. I mean, we love it. Goddamn, I have a Fiend thing right here, Mike. Mike, one of the most popular videos on YouTube is why WWE Creative is so awful. And the image for that YouTube video is our beloved Bray Wyatt and the Fiend. It's just, like, there's no, there's nothing you could pull from that to call that bad creative, unless you're just a stickler for seeing headlocks in the ring, and that's good. That's good shit right there. Like, shut up, man. Just let's let go. Again, fake fighting. We're having fun here.
Speaking of getting let go, man, Ed on Vert, that experiment is over already, and I'm kind of surprised. I didn't think he was doing a terrible job, and it looks like it was a amicable decision on both sides. That Ed was not a big fan of the travel, and WWE was kind of like, yeah, it's fine, go ahead. I guess I'm just kind of surprised because I know he's a baseball dude, and he's definitely at some point, right, traveled, you know, to go announce baseball games. So maybe it's just, you know, the way the WWE schedule works, and maybe they were kind of showing him what was in store for him as they, you know, start to, you know, move forward past COVID and, you know, have more live wrestling shows. You know, that's just conjecture on our part. But man, when he got released, there's a lot of people going, good riddance. And I was just like, kind of taken aback because this guy, man, he didn't get 2 years in the Performance Center. He didn't get to go under the wings of Michael Cole for 2 years. Yeah. He literally went from baseball to calling claymores for Drew McIntyre with like no prep. I mean, man, we're gonna bring him up in just a segment, but our beloved Eric Bugenhagen toiled away for years, and he looked ready in night one with his encore in NXT with his air guitaring. And now look at him. He's a, you know, fledgling heavy metal electric guitarist, you know, bringing out our beloved Nakamura. So I would pump the brakes on being so hypercritical on poor Adnan, who is a decorated and celebrated sports announcer, and he literally got a crash course in becoming a WWE commentator, and then they broke up. And I would not call him Mike Ademley, doesn't matter, he's out. I don't think that that's a fair comparison. I didn't think he sounded nervous. I just think that what a learning curve. to just get thrown in the WWE fire. I think he got too much heat for what they asked of him to do, to be on the flagship show of WWE with no practice.
And he definitely too took it in stride on social media. Like he was clapping back at everybody. The old Hall of Fame induction for Adnan being posted, photoshopped picture. He just came right back and he was like, "It's just an honor to be nominated." That's a great tweet, and that's. I think this guy was out there having fun, and I come back to again what I should stop summing up things is why we should give wrestling a little more leeway of what we're actually watching. But that guy, he was having fun and he put in the effort. I can never fault anybody for doing that. And I mean, goddamn, we watch a guy that on AEW every week that can't even get a goddamn word out of his fucking mouth. So what problem do we have with a guy who's at least trying to learn this job and get it right? It's just I'm a sleepy boy right now. Yeah. You and I both spend a lot of time on Twitter, and I just wish there was some way that we could break through and get more people to hear this side of the story, where it's not just black and white on everything. Like, Adnan Britt did not have to be the greatest sportscaster of all time, the greatest sports announcer of all time for professional wrestling. But apparently he needed to be for wrestling Twitter. And I just wish, to your sentiment, people could let go a little bit and give someone an opportunity, because everybody was thrilled about that release. And I mean, just what was it? 2 days later, Tom Phillips gets the axe. And this is a guy that you and I both know works incredibly hard. And this is one of the most punishing jobs an announcer can do, with how much you are force fed as you're trying to speak. These are the words I've heard from Mick Foley, is he refuses to do this job because he knows how difficult it is. But he also worked behind the scenes. So this guy was fully in the WWE world, and all the faults that we give it, and he's let go. I just, it's just weird to me. I didn't want either guy to be released. I don't think we hope that anybody gets fired. It's just I hope it's more of like an open, eye-opening situation for some wrestling fans to celebrate one man's release, and a few days later we're mourning the next. I think for both of those, it sucks for those guys that they don't. Maybe this is something Adnan really wanted to try and it didn't work. And even if it's just about the scheduling, that super sucks. If you wanted to make this work and the scheduling got in the way. For Tom Phillips, it's obviously a worse story. I think, this is a guy who's put in a lot of time and effort, and go back to the extra jobs he had. But still, neither one of these are great feel-good stories. They both suck. But yeah, I guess there isn't too much to say more about Tom Phillips, but the situation sucks. But if you can be as successful as Tom Phillips was with this job, he can do anything. Yeah. I think word's gotten around at how tough this job is, so he just needs to put that at the top of his resume, and he's going to be golden.
Yeah, that's a great point. Both those guys are going to be fine. Adnan's just going to go back to sports, and he fits right in perfectly. And then Tom saw kind of a cool tweet from Dax of AEW saying, "For my money, Tom was the best commentator I had the pleasure of working with. He worked so hard with us to get our story across. He put the words to our music. Maybe his biggest downfall was he enjoyed calling actual professional wrestling ellipses. I'm sure I'll see you soon." So I don't know if that means, every time somebody gets released, they're going to AEW. It's always a story. Who knows? Maybe he'll be in the, the Royal Rumble on Sunday. Maybe he'll come in. Maybe it'll be, he'll be in the Casino Battle Royale, and, he'll be joining the big show. Who knows?
Yep, got another mystery entrant.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. You're right, Tom. Great worker. He'll land on his feet. He'll be fine. And if he comes to AEW, man, that's a real get for them. And then, Matt, I guess just the last piece is the Boogs. Bugenhagen watch is over. Matt, now we get to watch Bugenhagen. It's a totally different watch. He comes out, shreds the guitar. Clearly, this company sees something in him to let him rub elbows with Nakamura. As a fan of the guy, as a guy who's tweeted him periodically over the past 2 years, going, when, why, what are we waiting for? Man, this was, outside of him debuting at WrestleMania to win the title, this is a pretty badass way for him to come out, scream his name, scream out Nakamura's name, and just own that stage. Matt, are you optimistic about this?
I at least I saw this and I was like, does somebody actually listen to our show? Because they're taking two of our favorites and mixing them together. Like I couldn't have been more tickled to see what actually happened here. I was a little bummed that I didn't get to see it live because I know that would have been a major pop ski for me. But clearly I was busy Friday night with more pressing matters.
I was really thinking you're going to change Teddy's name to Boogs.
Yeah, that would have been a nice move, right? Just in honor. I thought maybe naming my son after Teddy Long and Kevin Owens would have been enough for you, but yeah, I got to go back to the record books and cross off Teddy, and maybe it could be Boogs.
I thought you named him after Teddy from Mr. Bean and Uncle Owen from Star Wars. I don't have a great answer yet where those names came from. I get to pretend, I guess, that maybe I tell people it's from Owen Hart. So
yeah, that's a good idea. That doesn't hurt. That's where Kevin Owens came from, right?
Yeah,
Owens is his son, named after Owen Hart. Okay, anyway, nobody cares.
All right, Matt, are we going to give you 3 NXT nuggets for this week before we get into Double or Nothing?
I certainly didn't prep for it, so let's move on to AEW.
Matt, I'm super geeked about Double or Nothing. I got folks who are Vax coming over. We're going to be having some yum-yums. I got pickle pizza coming, but they're just wait till you try it. It's like garlic bread with a little bit of dill. Oh, is it good? They're excited to play board games. I'm like, you guys, no, this card is amazing. Matt, I don't know if you want to just start from the bottom, work our way up.
Yeah.
Drake style, but let's do it this way. Matt, this is because I'm pretty familiar with this card. So Stadium Stampede.
A couple of them, just so you know, while you're looking at the notes. Boop.
Oh, I see what happened there. Yeah. Nope. Stadium Stampede, Matt. Pinnacle, Inner Circle. When I saw this and I saw Pinnacle win on that special event, the Blood and Guts, I thought, oh, Inner Circle, they're going to tie it up, make this a best of 3. But, man, much in those tea leaves, like when the Royal Rumble comes around, I'm thinking of 2016, and people are like, oh, yeah, Randy's got it. Like, Randy? Where the hell is that coming from? By God, he won. Man, those same kind of voices are saying this is the end of the Inner Circle. Because if they lose, they're done. They have to break up. Matt, do you see this Randy Orton like little chirping on the side? Is this going to come to fruition, or are we going to get a best of 3? An Inner Circle is going to tie up the score.
I think they're definitely pushing this to Jericho having a face run. So I think he does a better face run without Inner Circle, and I think it'll be fine for these guys to give it a go on the outside. And there are quite a few, I know the jokes of how many different factions there are in AEW. Like that does get around, but that's not as big a deal for me. But the point being, if Inner Circle goes away, we're fine. Like the circles keep on rolling. So I think it'll be a fun start too for if Jericho is going to hang around. I would look at what his tour schedule is and also help that determine. Should have done that, right? That would have been good research to see if Inner Circle is going to prevail or not and stick around. But my wonder, since I think even though we do want to get younger guys facing Kenny Omega for all of his titles, I think it would be kind of fun to see Kenny and Chris go at it again, but with a face Chris and a heel Kenny. I think there's a lot of viewership in that. That's a huge pay-per-view match, and I think it would just be more fun to see the return of like the list toting type of Chris Jericho, and we are getting there. I think since Pinnacle's come around, you definitely get a closer, fun, loving Chris Jericho, but. I think it'd be fun to see that solo run. So yeah, give me Pinnacle, end of Inner Circle.
I will say, yeah, I think it's time for Santana and Ortiz to kind of get back into the tag team picture. Sammy Guevara would probably go his own way with that obnoxious tsunami haircut that he loves showing everybody. To see him go, maybe go heel on his own a little bit. But I feel like if Inner Circle does win this match, it just knocks down Pinnacle, who, Pinnacle, okay, like Inner Circle has a whole, year plus of them being relevant, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Pinnacle, they have one victory, and it's still arguably MJF and friends. And if they're really going to try and get this stable over, get this faction over as a legitimate, heel threat, they need more wins. They need to pad the win-loss column. And I think the only way they do that is they topple the Inner Circle and look like badasses doing it. So I guess I'm in. Pinnacle's it. And we'll let the members kind of disperse for the Inner Circle.
I will say there's that element of War Games and how like Undisputed Era was always successful. Four Horsemen is Stadium Stampede. Is that the Inner Circles match? So there could be that idea backing it. So if they win, I would assume that Inner Circle is going to be holding on to the Stadium Stampede as something that they can come back to every year, and they do a great job of booking it. They like to have fun in that match, so. I'd be all for it, but yeah, I still see, at least storyline wise, it makes more sense for Pinnacle to win and start to build something else up.
Yeah, the toughest thing would be because Stadium Stampede is so fun. It's hard to see the bad guys win a fun match. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, we got the TNT Championship's going to be defended. Murder Hawk versus Miro, and it's not that we love talking about wrestling being a circus and the different tents. This is going to be the big hoss fight, the meaty man slapping meat. But it feels like such a foregone conclusion that, it's not as exciting for me as it could be, because we know that Miro, this is his time. This is, he's got the rocket. He's got the little straps kind of fit on his shoulders there, and he's ready to start flying around. And that means that he's not going to lose in his first title defense to the Murder Hawk. Does that kind of damper your interest for this one, Matt?
Absolutely. I always hate it when it's too predictable, but I think Amy would agree with us. I think the three of us are all huge fans of Murder Hawk, and I just I would have gone for something that was a little bit easier to see, like another easy win for Miro. I think that would have been a better shot. Could have been, I don't know, something could have happened in the week too. Maybe something's going to happen tonight while we're recording and we're missing it, where Murder Hawk gets hurt. But I think there should have been something to set up Miro's. I know now we're back-to-back matches already, saying that we need more wins under their belts and just insert name. But I think it still makes sense. It's not unfair to say that Miro's start with AEW was, in my opinion, an absolute joke. So for him to have a Miro run, to be the guy that we wanted to see be successful in WWE, I didn't need to see video game Miro successful in WWE. That guy losing to John Cena at WrestleMania, that makes perfect sense. The Rusev that lost at WrestleMania, the Miro I want to see him be, he should go on a long winning streak. And I think that's where all of our frustrations came with Rusev days. We saw a guy who can look and be dominant. And I think you need to, Murder Hawk victory is going to be great. It just sucks for Murder Hawk. we're such huge fans.
Yeah. Important spot, but a tough spot for his fans. Matt, let's roll the dice, or mix it up a little bit. We got the Casino Battle Royale. I hope they don't do it in the pre-show again. But some of the names out there, the Griff Garrisons, Brian Pillman Jr., Preston Vance of Dark Order, Stu Grayson, Nick Comoroto, QT, Marshall, Lee Johnson, Dustin Rhodes, Matt Anthony Bowens, Max Caster, Penta El Zero, Isiah Cassidy, Marq Quen, Matt Sydal, Christian Cage,
yeah,
Matt Hardy, Powerhouse, Hobbs, Evil Uno, Colt Cabana, Jungle Boy, and of course, there's always some mystery entrants. But Matt, I'm going to give you one hot tag question here if you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right. Christian Cage or The Field?
Oh, oops. Hot tag.
Hot tag.
All right, so you get The Field in this bet. I'm taking Christian Cage. And
I want a Christian Cage just to win the bet.
I mean, it's almost like the more interesting conversation here is that I want to see Matt Sydal not almost kill himself. I want to see Penta do well. But I mean, that would be something like if I was fantasy booking this and not doing predictions.
Yeah,
pick Penta. Like 9 times out of 10. I don't know who the mystery entrant is going to be. I think I had my what do you say? Your ear to the ground, right? And I think we all knew who was coming, but this year I don't know, and I don't know. You said
Well, there's the really sexy rumor that I don't think has enough meat to it to really, come true. But Samoa Joe is a guy who said he's got something up his sleeve. He's going to be busy. We haven't seen a lot of that in the tea leaves, but he is unemployed. I think companies would love to have him there, but I have a feeling it's going to be our boy Big Show because he's supposed to help announce that match. So he's probably just going to take the tux off and get in there and wrestle with the boys a little bit.
Can I just say, you and I were very critical of the excitement of Christian coming to AEW. Like,
it's just not for us.
Samoa Joe, I don't have enough pants in the house to contain all of the semen that's going to blow from my middle.
Wow.
That is something to be excited for. And I hope, like, I only bring that up because I know, like, we get a lot of flack. I get a lot of flack for being a WWE guy, but I don't know. I feel like I hate both, and I'm trying to be more realistic. But that's my proof right there. That's my proof that when I wasn't excited about Christian Cage, it was because it was Christian, not because it was AEW.
Yeah.
Again, not enough pants in the world to contain the jism that would be streaming from my middle if from my wee.
I think
came out and won that match. If Samoa Joe comes out, Mike, and beats Christian for the Casino Battle Royale, Mike, there's not enough land on planet Earth to contain the amount
no. Okay, man.
of cinnamon roll.
All right,
cream.
there. Holy mackerel. All right. Matt, if it's in the pre-show, we're not getting Samoa Joe. It's going to be Pineapple Pete coming out as, I don't know. Give me a fruit. He's going to be Kumquat Carl or something. He's just going to reboot himself. It's
Kumquat. I see.
It's got to be a main. It's got to be a main card battle royale situation. Otherwise, why are we wasting Samoa Joe? Probably the strong money's on Big Show wrestling, and the better money's on Christian Cage winning.
And honestly, another snore. Like Big Show's gonna come out. I mean, it'll be cute at the time, but it's not something. It's not a surprise entrance that I go, oh man, I got to see that big pop when Big Show came out at the Casino Battle Royale in the pre-show.
It's almost like he's too big.
Yeah.
He's
too big for this show.
Yeah, like he's I meant he's too large a human being. you know, all these 5'10" guys in AEW are going to look 4'10" next to Big Show. But let's move on, man. We got Brian Cage, soon to be a horror movie actor. We're learning. He's just going to fight Hangman. Matt Hangman, he's kind of been toiling around. He's been drinking whiskeys. He's been in tag teams. He's been doing everything but the main event. And the story is maybe the reason that he's kind of been on the peripheral is that they've been waiting for a live crowd before strapping the rocket to him. So when I look at this one, the Hangman, I think this is probably going to be go time this Sunday. We got people back. Let's light a fire under this guy and just send him to the moon.
Yeah, remember when we were critical when he first started with AEW? I think everything that I didn't like, no, you know what? It's not even that I didn't. I hate when these guys are just crowned as these wrestling gods, and then I look at their character and I go, all right, he's on a horse. That's pretty neat. He didn't turn into Hangman Page till he was like a disgruntled alcoholic. Like that adds so much more flavor, almost literal flavor, if you think about it, to his character. There's you get the smoky heat from his bourbons. The smoky burn, I should say, not heat. But he's just become like, I say, like it's Stone Cold-esque in regards to maybe not the loud drunk, but he's definitely the quiet, scary drunk. He's got like that Aragorn feel to him, you know, in the back of the was it Hobbiton? No, not Hobbiton. Buckleberry Ferry, follow me. They're going to where? Anyways,
the end of the Prancing Pony.
Yes, thank you. He's like Aragorn at the back of the end of the Prancing Pony. So he's on his way to become the king. He's just got to get through the 2 towers. He's got 2 books, Mike, to finish.
He's still Strider. We're waiting for him to be Aragorn.
Yes, that is a good way to put that. Thanks for finishing my point. Sleepy boy. All right, but yeah, Hangman for this one. We've been talking too long. We're gonna still end up making this over a fucking hour.
I gotta say, this next one is probably the hardest one to predict because I could see their reign just continuing through the summer. But the fun possibilities of Kingston and Jon Moxley running the tag division. I would be sitting in front of my TV at 7:30, hitting refresh, just excited for Dynamite to start again. If Kingston and Mox were opening and closing shows as the champs,
perfectly booked for you
to
finally hate the Young Bucks. Like I think that they did such a good job with this, and it's been a struggle, I think, to get you to despise the Young Bucks because they're doing like good work on like ESPN too and showing up with their Jordans and they're playing into all that fun stuff. So I think this is that moment where you're like, God damn it. They took something really great away from me. I think they did some incredible booking with that to really help you fall in love with Kingston.
I would say that I will be more upset that they're taking away my Kingston and Mox run than I am with them taking the actual tag titles. That's what's going to get me upset.
No, yeah.
I would buy every dorky tag team gimmick catchphrase T-shirt that Kingston and Mox end up putting their heads together and making.
I mean, Mox still has to take. He's got to have right. There's paternity leave in his future, right? I hope he's got like a month off coming up. He should be able to get that. Let me tell you, Mike. With 2 babies, it's pretty tough. 1 baby's still pretty tough, so he's got to get some free time. He's got to help out. He's got to help out the young lady at home. They need their rest.
Matt is calling it now. He's calling the Bucks. I got to call the Bucks too. I think that they have a feel for how excited we would be for Kingston and Mox, and for the Bucks to snatch it away. It's right on the money. Matt, probably the match. I saw a really good tweet about this. Cody Rhodes and Brandy Rhodes are. They're. Now I can't remember the tweet. Now I'm letting.
Is it Thunder Rosa?
Was it Thunder? What did she say?
Biggest feud in pro wrestling.
Yeah, that was it.
Cody Rhodes and Brandy Rhodes versus self-awareness.
Woo! And she did not tweet that, for the record.
No, that was a response.
Yeah.
Oh my God! If Thunder Rosa tweeted that, then we'd know
Woo!
she's on her way to NXT.
She gone. But yeah, he's gonna fight Anthony Ogogo. Cody breaking out the American Dream gimmick, but
I've never wanted Cody to lose more than I want him to lose this Sunday. Is it Saturday or Sunday?
I heard some pretty fascinating stuff about that promo. Allegedly,
about it being workshopped.
Workshopped it. So, to who?
What does that even mean?
To who? Who did you workshop it to?
Mike, when I saw the quote that they had, what do you call it, the test audience or the, you have a group
focus
of people.
Group.
Yeah, you had a focus group. I read that at first and I went, man, Cody's so funny. And then I realized he wasn't joking. He was like, for real. That was straight. That was him.
Was there a single black person in this focus group?
It's like, yeah, I mean, if it was like the Hogan family, of course they love that. They were all about it. He was like, I handpicked this focus group. I had walked into Hulk Hogan.
Did he have a van and a megaphone at that day when the Nutballs stormed the Capitol on January 6th? Is that when he did the focus group? Because I don't know.
Funniest thing, do you have Time Hop? Do you have Time Hop on your phone? It shows you like tweets and pictures you've taken on that day going back, 10, 15 years. 2 days or maybe 3 days after that, AOC tweeted out how great it is that Cody Rhodes and Brandy Rhodes are so aware of each other after Cody made his comments about Cody said he was colorblind to Brandy Rhodes, and Brandy said, then you don't see me. And AOC, I forget her first name, but Ocasio-Cortez, she was the one who tweeted that out to bring up to send some goodwill to pro wrestling, to AEW, to say, hey, this is the company you should watch because they're saying the right things. I mean, it was just so funny that popped up in my Time Hop. It was like 2 years ago this happened.
Yeah.
And that's where I focus on saying the right things at that time, and they didn't necessarily go forward and do the right thing to continue that trend.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Like we talked about, listen, I think he saw how it went over. If he had a chance, he'd do it over again. But instead, the next story they do, hey, I focus grouped it. You guys said you liked it, so it's not my fault. It's like, no, don't double down on it. Just cut it out.
Double or nothing, Mike.
AEW focus group or nothing. Here we go. Get it out.
You guys hated it, but now it's your fault. How do you feel about that? All right,
we're gonna give
Mike,
you what you want. Let's
on Twitter. Since we missed this match, I saw that Ogogo is getting booed. Come on, guys, wake up, Jacksonville, wake up. You boo Cody Rhodes, you boo him so goddamn hard on Sunday, or I have zero faith in the wrestling community going forward.
It's the American dream. He's getting a hero's welcome. He's going to be the main event over the actual main events. It is Hikaru Shida versus Britt Baker. Now, in a good way. It feels like the Miro Murderhawk is kind of set in stone, right?
I just realized we had Hangman on here twice. I was like, why are you skipping matches?
Out of there. This feels like Britt Baker's time, right?
Yeah.
Is it finally time to pull the trigger on this one?
Here's the difference, Mike, between Miro's match and this match, because we know exactly what's going to happen, what the end result should be. But this is crowning the champion. This absolutely has to happen because it's almost overdue at this point. And it's not at that point, but if we waited another month, then we'd be like, come on, what are we doing? So yeah, this is Britt Baker all the way. She earned this months ago. She earned this when we had our biggest YouTube video about Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker going at it. Just a quick plug for our own show there. But yeah, I mean, All right, this is the writing's on the wall. This one's good to go. Let's pack it, ship it. It's gonna be a great match. I'm not taking anything away from it. I'm just talking about if I guess I'm addressing, am I a hypocrite? Because I'm really excited for this, and we all know Britt Baker's gonna win. But am I a hypocrite because I'm not as excited about Murder Hawk and Miro because I know who's gonna win? I think it's just a different idea here.
Like Shida she is not stale, but it feels like, you know what? I think she's proven everything she has to prove, and even in defeat, she will still be upper echelon, in the AEW women's division. Where Britt Baker, if she loses, another match like this, kind of like, well, when are we going to see her like get her shot? Because she's clearly, the most talented woman that they employ. Then I think this is just going to be a case of perfect time. Let's roll with this and see how high she can take the ceiling for this whole division. Yeah. And then Matt, we move to the main event. Kenny Omega defending against Pac and Orange Cassidy. I shared an article this week, one of my favorite websites. Ringer had a pretty good one about Cassidy. The ceiling for his career as more of a clown than a serious title contender like Omega or even Pac. I don't think that it's a bad thing to be a wrestling clown. I do think that part of the reason Cassidy is so popular is because, and I think they quoted Colt Cabana in that article. Yeah, it was Colt Cabana. If you can't wrestle, if you can't go and the crowd doesn't understand or not understand, if the crowd doesn't agree and see that, oh yeah, this guy can also wrestle, then the clown gimmick doesn't get over. So part of what makes Cassidy such an interesting wrestling prospect is that yes, he is, a tongue-in-cheek, the King of Sloth style, thumbs up, hands in his pockets, but I don't think it works if we didn't know that he could also go in the ring. So there might be a lower ceiling for him, as far as winning championships goes. But Orange Cassidy, the man, I think he's going to be fine financially, and a lot of that is attributed to he can be both sides of that coin. He can be humorous, and he can still wrestle.
So the winner, I agree with everything you said. I honestly, I don't see huge potential in a major champion. I think there's probably a couple of good runs in there. But yeah, Orange Cassidy is, it's like that same idea with what we wanted for the Fiend was to stay away from the championship conversation and kind of what we get, for most of the Undertaker's career. I think he could have turned into something where it was fun to have, what do I want to say? I keep having the wrong words pop in my head, but I guess just having a feud with him, because it's something that you could do a lot of behind the scenes promos. I mean, it could be something, Mike, with Orange Cassidy, the way he's so good on camera. If you have somebody that's going to be off TV for a while, have him feud with Orange Cassidy just in the back and have him pop up and other promos, have them all pre-recorded, have a guy go on vacation. There's strategies to some of these guys that I think pro wrestling hasn't quite uncovered yet. But you set all that stuff up in the back, and then eventually, a guy takes a month off, Jon Moxley, and then he comes back and fights Orange Cassidy, and it's all funsies. That Jon Moxley's a bad idea because they're both faces, and it would be confusing. But I'm just, there's potential for this character to be cool and have fun and say almost nothing, and you could have all these things block, stocked, and ready to go way ahead of time before you actually need them. And I don't know. It's that's where I see this.
You're just trying to explain
the
extra use value. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, for this match, Kenny Omega all the way. And I think Orange Cassidy's taking the pin, and I think they're going to keep Pac safe, and I think they're going to do another Pac and Kenny after this. Leading into eventually, they're gonna go back and do the Hangman versus Pac, and Hangman's going to prevail. And
Yeah, I think what's funny is we just had a Bobby Lashley, Braun Strowman, and McIntyre match, and it was like clockwork the way we predicted. Braun's going to eat a couple finishers, take what we used to affectionately call the Kane spot, where you don't get to win a title, but you are in a title match. And what's going to be fascinating is that I think Orange is in the Kane spot. I think he's going to eat a couple of finishers and take the pin, but man, I think he's kicking out of a one-winged angel on Sunday. And that might not be a title victory, but still be something to put a little feather in his cap that not a lot of people kick out of that move, because it's pretty heavily protected. So I think Cassidy's going to do something pretty cool. It's not going to be win the championship. It's not that time. There's a lot of juice, if you will, in that Kenny Omega running the company storyline.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're going to be in for a pretty cool treat for Orange. I think he's kicking out of a one-winged angel.
Wow. I mean, that's a fun prediction. I don't see it myself. I still see Cassidy going down clean, but I think he's going to take a lot, and he's going to take a lot of punishment. And we're going to see. I mean, you could just look at the three guys that'll be in the ring, and the guy who can't take. I mean, if you were judging this fight in a back alley, the three guys just in a scuffle, if you had to pick the guy that shouldn't get hit too often,
I'd probably pick Orange. Yeah,
yeah, you pick Orange Cassidy. So I think if they give him a lot of punishment, I think he'll come out as he tried really hard. But yeah, it'll be Kenny Omega. Orange Cassidy's future is definitely destined to be the guy that people tweet about, I don't know, once a month just to get 120 likes when they just go, Orange Cassidy. That's the tweet. Oh, zing. All right. Sorry, half of Twitter. Man, we got to do more of that, by the way. Apparently that works. Also, shout out to the guy that photoshopped all of my Seth Rollins drip Twitter posts and got hundreds of likes for each one. Hats off to you. You're a pretty smart guy. Guess I should have thought of doing that. I don't know. I shouldn't say thought of doing that because straight up stole it, and holy shit, did he get a lot of likes. We got to start putting Brothers of Discussion on all of our memes. Oh,
damn
fuck. Yeah, that sucked to see that. I just searched it to see. I was trying to find our old tweet, and I saw that somebody stole every single one that I put together. And yeah, theirs blew up. So we suck at Twitter, apparently, because they even have less followers than us. I don't know. All right, we got to wrap up. Everybody, find us at BOD Podcast for Twitter, so you can see the Little Debbie pictures. I mean, come on, it takes a lot of hard work to compare a Seth Rollins suit to a Little Debbie cupcake. BrothersOfDiscussion.com, BODpodcast.com for all the archive junk, and then really hope you guys check out the YouTube channel. That'll be the Brothers of Discussion. Give us the old subscribe and help us continue to grow. We've had a pretty good run here. We appreciate everybody that's come along for the ride. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and enjoy the weekend.